It went on and on and on. At times it was loud. At times it was contentious. The room was filled. People were passionate. But when it was all said and done, LAUSD is going to accept bids from outside providers to run new schools.
6-1 vote. The motion passes. Thank you all.
But not everybody was applauding. There were plenty of parents and teachers upset about the bill.
Our highest number of graduates just graduated this past year. When compared to the mayor, in that same time, he has managed to ruin several schools of which he has taken over. All the time while managing 2 affairs with 2 reporters.
Yikes. If the goal is the best education for the kids, this is not a bad idea. Here's the other side. Employees of LAUSD are concerned if an outside company runs the schools, they may be out of a job. Joining us are contributors, City Hall reporter for the Daily News, Rick Orlov. Hi, Rick. And civil rights attorney and talk show host Leo Terrell. He is also the author of a new book, The Things Your Boss Won't Tell You, Your Rights at the Workplace. Leo, thank you for being here.
My pleasure, Fred.
All right, we'll start with you. LAUSD employees are upset, but I got to tell you, Leo, this really might be best for the kids.
Hey, as a former school teacher, I like it. Teachers and unions have held back schools for years because they don't want to lose their jobs. And unfortunately, Fred, the unions protect incompetent teachers. You go outside, you have a private company run these schools. They will be based on competence and merit, not based on union protection. I'm 100% for this.
I'll tell you, for a civil rights attorney to say unions ruin schools, that's a pretty strong statement. Rick, what do you think? Go ahead, Leo.
What's interesting to me about this is that this has been a train coming down the track for 4 or 5 years, where the mayor made clear that he wanted to change the school district. And I don't understand why the union leadership and their members haven't got more on board with him and tried to make a deal so that they would be involved in this reform effort.
Yeah, but if they got on board with him, really, what does that mean? The governor has talked about the problems with education in this state, and we know LAUSD does not provide the greatest test scores, and we know there's got to be a way to try and evaluate teachers on performance. Anytime they're in a union situation, Rick, you're not going to judge them on performance. You're going to judge them on tenure.
Well, and that's exactly why they should have gotten on board with the mayor to get involved and back this reform effort and try to deal with their main points, which is collective bargaining, and give away some of that other power.
The problem, though, Rick and Fred, is simply this. The mayor has no credibility on this. At first, when he became the mayor, he wanted to take over the whole school district. He failed at that plan. Now he's on his way out. He basically sold out the union now, and he's trying to be more progressive, more outspoken, more progressive as far as reform. First, he was for taking over the school district. Now he wants to give it away. So I don't have any credibility with the mayor, but I do like the idea that let the schools be out for competitive bidding.
All right. Fireworks, by the way, we're at the school board meeting today. We're going to have those for you coming up later. Ever bought food from one of those lunch trucks that drive around? A lot of times you see them at the construction sites or areas where people are working with no restaurants in the area. And most of the time the food is pretty good. Not everybody likes them. Like restaurant owners in the Mid-Wilshire district. The trucks apparently are parking in front of restaurants and taking business away. The restaurants are losing money and laying people off because everyone's eating at the truck. Restaurant owners there would like the city to regulate this. Rick, here's a suggestion. Make the trucks park on a side street, not a lot of them park in front of the restaurant. That
may be a good suggestion indeed.
But
it's been a problem for years dealing with the illegal vendors.
Yeah.
And what the restaurant owners complain is that these trucks don't have to pay for health inspections, they don't pay taxes, and that they're taking away their customers. You may have the answer, though.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, should the city even get involved in something like this, Leo?
Oh, absolutely, Fred. Listen, first of all, it's called business, and here are people who are built. These restaurants have purchased a business license, a health license. They play by the rules, and these other what I call roach trucks go around, take business away. It's not fair. It's not leveling the playing field. They don't have the same overhead as these other businesses who are doing business with the city.
Leo,
it's totally unfair.
Leo,
yes.
I can't even believe you, of all people, would say that. Don't these drivers of the roach trucks have the right to conduct a business as well?
Fred, they got to play by the same rules. All I'm simply saying is if they want to conduct business, play by the same rules. They're parking illegally. They're violating every rule to make a profit. It's not fair to the guy who pays all his taxes, who pays for rent. It's not fair for them to bring the customers and for these roast trucks to collect them.
Gang activity in South Central has spiked in recent weeks. Why is this happening? Could be anything from the weather is too hot to the economy is bad. William Bratton is not going to let this get out of control.
We have had an increase in July and August in this area of the city. And we want to basically stop that increase, and we've found the best way to do it is this. Working with you in the media to get the story out for the gangbangers. We're coming, and our clearance rate success is some of the best in the nation. You commit a homicide here in the South Bureau, the likelihood, particularly if you're a gang member, you are in fact going to be arrested and you are going to jail.
Well, the chief said they're coming. I would say they're coming. LAPD, the FBI, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosive, the U.S. Marshal's Office, the California Highway Patrol will all be involved in the crackdown. Leo, do what needs to be done. I get that. You get that. We all get it. But really, is there any real way of ever eliminating this problem?
No. Absolutely not. And you mentioned it, Fred, already. Bad economy, summer, high unemployment, crime is going to be with us forever. And Bratton is leaving in October. You can have these measures like gang injunctions to stop the association in public, but criminals work behind the scenes. They work behind the closed doors. So crime is going to be with us, unfortunately, as long as we're around. The problem here is utilizing as many resources as possible. And the one suggestion I would have, Fred, is to put more police officers on the street. LA has a shortage of police officers, 10,000 for our city, 33,000 officers in New York City.
No, you and I agree with that, Leo. I mean, we've talked about that and the cuts in the police department. Boy, I say you never cut the police. You never cut fire. I agree. I mean, you put people on. Rick, thoughts?
Well, the problem is, one is it's summer and we don't longer have as many year-round schools, so kids are out on the streets. But the bigger problem is one we're going to face in the future, as they reduce the prison population and the gang members that are in prison get out and hit the streets, the crime's going to spike. Everyone is afraid it's going to spike even more then. So Bratton and the mayor are trying to send a message that we're going to deal with it now, but the real problem is what's going to happen 6 months or a year from now.
That's a great point. And my question would then be, so when they open the prisons and let people walk out, which I know we think is absolutely insane here, but when they do that, are they going to have enough police officers to take care of that gang activity?
But we don't have enough.
Because they're going to be spending more money on funerals for celebrities. They're going to be worrying about tax breaks for others. They're not going to spend money on two issues, crime and safety. We have to make sure we have more firefighters and police officers. And last week, Fred, we were talking about Bernard Parks cutting back safety and firefighters. They don't put the money in the right places. Public safety.
Rick, I'll give you the last word. Go ahead.
On the city budget, they do spend a lot on public safety. Probably 2/3 of the budget goes for police and fire. And the question is, what kind of city do you live in? Where else do you make the cuts? Do you make the cuts in the parks? Do you make the cuts in the libraries? Do you make the cuts in the swimming pools? It's all a balancing act.
All right, let's move on. 29-year-old Jeremy Schott lives in Orange County. He has cerebral palsy. He works at Target, and he's not pleased, so much so that a lawsuit is being filed. U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission filed a discrimination suit on his behalf, alleging Target failed to make reasonable accommodations. The suit says Target reduced his hours because of his medical conditions. The suit contends that he was forced to go to meetings involving work issues and job performance without a coach or parent to help him, even though his job coach and parents asked to attend. Leo will give Target credit for hiring him, and I know this seems a little harsh, but does this type of thing cause businesses to rethink a decision like that?
No. Fred, just because you have a disability, this is right in my wheelhouse.
Right.
I do this for a living. Just because a person has a disability, he should not be denied reasonable accommodations. And Fred, that's the key word, reasonable. Is what this person's asking for is reasonable for him to perform his job. He can do his job, but because he has a disability, Target has an obligation to make the accommodations, and their failure to engage in what they call an interactive process is wrong. Target is wrong.
Rick?
Well, I'll defer to Leo on the legalities of it. It just seems common sense that if the company is going to hire someone with this kind of disability, they need to make accommodations for them.